Hey everyone, Jeff here from Films at Home, and today we've got maybe the greatest horror movie sequel of all time on 4K. Hey everyone, so thanks for coming back to the channel today for this video. Today we're taking a look at The Exorcist III from Scream Factory on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray. I'll talk briefly about the movie. I'll also cover the video quality on this. We'll talk about the audio quality, and then we'll break down the packaging, special features, and all of the included content that you get with this purchase to let you guys know whether or not this one's worth upgrading for your collection. So quickly on the movie itself, The Exorcist III is one of my favorite horror movies ever. Never mind one of my favorite horror movie sequels, and I think you can make an argument, and I'd argue with myself, but there's lots of great entries out there. This could be the greatest horror movie sequel of all time, especially being that it's the third in a series. Usually the sequels are like number 2 is the closest to the best, and then number 3 start to tail off. Not the case here with The Exorcist III, and I think that's because it is based on a book by William Peter Blatty, who wrote The Exorcist. His book Legion was the inspiration for The Exorcist III, so they actually had some really solid source material to work with. And truly, this is sort of William Peter Blatty's, like, this is his version of what The Exorcist 2 would have been and what happened after The Exorcist. So it's interesting that it's The Exorcist 3, but it's actually the most like faithful sequel to the original movie. And shout out to George Scott in this, because he easily could have mailed this in given it's a horror movie sequel. And George Scott, big time actor, Patton, he gives an amazing performance in this. He's awesome to watch. Now here on 4K from Scream Factory, this is actually an upgrade to their collector's edition Blu-ray release, which I also owned from back in 2016. So they are upgrading their own version here, but it's a big upgrade because that 2016 Blu-ray was a 2K scan from the interpositive, which is one stage removed from the actual camera negative. For this release, they've gone back and they have rescanned it at 4K and used the original camera negative. So I think it's a pretty significant difference. You can tell immediately that this picture is a lot sharper, and of course 4K is sharper than 1080, but it's also a much sharper transfer. And the Blu-ray disc that's included in here includes that new transfer as well in 1080p, and you can definitely see the difference there. So 4K only takes that to the next level. The 4K disc also features HDR10 and Dolby Vision, so if you don't have Dolby Vision, you get HDR10, but if you can get that Dolby Vision metadata, I think that really helps with some of the darker moments here. You get a much deeper black color, which is great because it is a fairly dark movie, and it always looked pretty gritty, so it's gonna look gritty here, but I do think that this is the cleanest it's ever looked. Definitely better than it looked in theaters would be my guess, given how pristine this source appears to be. And yeah, it's got a gritty look and feel to it, as many horror movies do from this time period, but this is just a revelation on 4K disc for me. I thought it was incredible. I was blown away by the detail. The HDR takes it up a notch, and even if you haven't upgraded to 4K yet, getting that newly remastered Blu-ray included in here is going to be a nice step forward over your previous Blu-ray releases, whether you've got the Exorcist Anthology or you've got that Scream Factory set. It's just incredible. Now on the audio side, we've got a DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 track, and from everything I'm reading about this source and this audio track, it has also been remastered and upgraded to a higher quality audio transfer. It's got a better bit rate than previous releases out there, which is nice to see. Could I really tell head to head? I'd say probably not. Like, you'd have to really have an ear and like really be listening for that. And honestly, when I do these reviews, like I always say, like, I'm trying to enjoy the movie, and yes, I'm looking out for those things, but like, I'm watching the movie first and foremost. And so without doing real serious audio comparisons, I bet most of you won't probably notice, but it's a good track. The 5.1 was good before. It's still very good here. It might be a little crisper. It might be a little, more dynamic. I didn't really notice, but I'm also watching it in a different environment than I've watched other releases. All of that matters, but this is just to say that it's a solid 5.1. There's no Atmos, there's no 7.1, but you don't need it for this movie. The 5.1 is great. It stands out when it needs to. The dialogue is clear. Those are all the things that I look for. And the lower end on the bass side, it's actually pretty good too, which is always helpful in a horror movie, because even if you don't realize it, even if you can't hear it, the low frequency in these horror movie scores can really make the hair on your back stand up. And it's important to have that nice lower end quality, so they nail it here. Now for the packaging, we get this 4K slip cover, which is only probably going to be included with like the first print run. You know, Scream Factory slip covers go quick, so if you want that, make sure you buy it. So opening it up, you get the same artwork here on the inside case, and then we've got a disc tray with 3 different discs. So you've got the 4K theatrical cut. Flipping this open, you've got the new remastered Blu-ray theatrical cut, and then this is super incredible, Blu-ray of the Legion cut. That's the director's cut of the movie, which was long thought to be lost. Like, people thought this was gone, and it's resurfaced here on Scream Factory's release. So 3 discs, 4K theatrical, Blu-ray theatrical, and Blu-ray director's cut. Now for features, we've got a few different things, but mostly ported over from their previous collector's edition. You got vintage featurettes, deleted scenes, alternate takes, and bloopers. You got a deleted prologue, which is cool, vintage interviews with cast and crew, photo galleries, theatrical trailers, and TV spots. Then, disc 3, I would consider this a special feature all on its own, is the Legion director's cut of the Blu-ray, which also has an audio interview with director and writer William Peter Blatty. Death, Be Not Proud. That's a 5-part documentary on the making of The Exorcist III, which features interviews with actors like Brad Dourif, the producer, the production designer, composer, and more. So there's even some extra special features included on that Legion director's cut. You get that interview with William Peter Blatty, which is very interesting. But overall, this is just a great release. It's got your features. It's got your great packaging. It has both versions of the movie. It has brand new scans for the theatrical cuts on both the 4K and the Blu-ray disc. It is the definitive version. It has everything you'd want as a fan of The Exorcist III. It upgrades the visuals. It even upgrades the audio. It's just awesome. Scream Factory, you know, they do really awesome work with this type of movie, these horror movies, even their Shout Selects, line, but I love their horror stuff. It's why I owned their previous collector's edition, and it's why I am not afraid to go ahead and recommend an upgrade, even though you might have spent some money on that collector's edition like I did. This one's going to be well worth it for the new scan. This new packaging is great. It's just got everything you want from a package. So if you want to pick this up, you can grab it on Amazon. I'll put that link in my description. That helps support my channel, so I appreciate it. I highly recommend you guys check this out if you haven't seen it yet. Written and directed by William Peter Blatty. He wrote the book, he wrote the movie, he directed the movie. That's why it's so good, in my opinion. He should have done more. But The Exorcist III is a fun ride. It has one of the best jump scares in movie history, which I won't spoil if you've never seen it, but you've probably seen the clips online. But it's just a really, really fun ride that you guys will enjoy, and this 4K release is stunning. So I can't say enough good things about this. I pray that Warner Brothers does as good a job with the original Exorcist as Scream Factory has done here with Exorcist III. This is a must-own for horror movie fans, and even if you don't love horror movies, you might get something out of this, because the movie's just very well done, very well put together. It's just a great cast and crew, and I love the movie. So, maybe I'm biased, but I would definitely pick this up and upgrade it for your collection. So thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here on YouTube for all the latest review videos and content. Also, make sure to check out the Films at Home podcast and all my social media links. Those will be in the description. So follow me there. Check out the podcast on your audio platforms. It's also here on YouTube. Tons of great ways to get in touch with me through social media as well. So thank you all. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, stay healthy out there, and I will talk to you soon.